Welcome back, League Mates and listeners. This is the Pigskin Pals podcast. We are into week 6. I got absolutely destroyed in week 5. AJ, on the other hand, had a terrific week last week. So hopefully roles will reverse this week. We're going to be giving you our insight on some of our favorite plays with our DFS lineups. And then we're going to be going over our picks for our redraft and home dynasty teams. So stay tuned, and we're going to be covering everything from week 5 and going into week 6.
Hell yeah.
Let's stuff into it. All right, AJ. I don't know if you remember last year, but 1 year ago, I ran a marathon, and I came back on this podcast, and I was like, this is the best fucking week I've ever had in fantasy. I won in every single week. Well, I did the same thing last weekend. I was running it in Minneapolis. I got my bib here, and I had the fucking worst week ever in fantasy. I lost everything. I was mid running the marathon because it was in Minneapolis. They had TVs up in like occasional places with like the game on. I had Aaron Rodgers playing on my dynasty team, and I kept running up to like the TVs. They're like, let's go, Skull. Vikings are winning 17-0. I'm like, that's not what I wanted to hear right now. Like,
not good.
I'm a Rodgers fan. So that hurt. And yeah, I finished the marathon, destroyed my time at least, hurt my knee.
There you go.
But then the rest of the week was just sad. I mean, Packers won, so that was a good thing, but just so many bad plays. I really wanted to beat Parker and had a lot of opportunities to, but did not capitalize on that dub. So it was unfortunate.
I didn't even realize how you did in fantasy until I texted Dane on Tuesday or whatever it was, like, oh hey, when do you want to record this week, or like, is it okay to do it Thursday, whatever I said, and he said, yeah, I don't even want to think about fantasy right now. So dude was in shambles, absolutely heartbroken about his week. It's tough, but I'm sure it will turn around.
Yeah, after the first 3 weeks or so, I was riding such a high that I haven't felt in such a long time from fantasy, where you're just like winning after win after win. I'm like, man, this season feels different. It wasn't just last week, it was the week before. There was just back-to-back L's. I'm like, man, this stinks. Like, I forgot about this. And losing to you in DFS every single week sucks,
let me
too.
pull
That's
that
what
up.
I care a lot about, so we can hop right into that. Maybe this is my comeback week.
I forgot to update one thing. This record, it should be 4-1. I think maybe I just wanted to rub it in a little bit more by not updating it so I could say it out loud. It is 4-1. I am absolutely crushing. But it was kind of funny because we really had like incredibly similar teams. It just so happened I had
outscored
Tucker
me
Kraft.
so much.
It's funny because we were talking about, I think maybe this is me, I think it was this group, but it said Josh Downs and Dontavian Wicks. You're like, oh man, Wicks is way safer than Downs. Like, come on, what are you talking about?
Say that.
And then Downs just absolutely murders Wicks. And then the Kraft play was basically what won me the week, I'd say.
Wicks can't catch a ball, and then I originally did have Musgrave slotted into that, so I mean, if Musgrave was playing and
evens out a little bit,
reps away from Kraft,
probably not 30 points.
Switched away, no. Not Fury from freaking Kraft, but hey, we both had the smarts to play Jamar Chase and Geno and Derrick Henry. So those are some solid plays. I mean, we whiffed on defense pretty freaking bad. Caleb Williams popped off. Who?
Yeah, he did. Freaking DK Metcalf, man. And do you know why we whiffed on him? Because I made a trade for him on Thursday night, and guess who I took out of my lineup to put him in? Darnell Mooney. And who had like 30 points on Thursday? Darnell Mooney. It was so sad. I was like, wow, I'm really going to trade for DK, put him in for Mooney, and now Mooney's going to score 30, and I bet you Metcalf's going to have just the worst day. And it actually happened, and I was so sad. Luckily, it didn't cost me anything, but yeah, I still won by a mile because the rest of my team cooked, but it was just funny.
Yeah, do you want to talk about that trade at all? Because you traded your first-round pick in Pat Freiermuth for DK Metcalf. I have my opinions on that trade.
I feel like maybe this was off like recording, I don't remember, but I think we were talking about trying to get DK Metcalf from Luke at one point, and I didn't think anything of it. I didn't send him anything, and then I got a trade offer on Thursday morning. It was DK for my first Jake Ferguson. And being the Cowboys fan that I am, and also the fact that I think Ferguson's much better than Pat Freiermuth, I said, what if we do Pat Freiermuth and my first for DK? I was pretty happy about getting this.
Do you just think he wanted a first? Like, if you just offered him a first for DK, you would have taken that?
No, but I mean, maybe. Realistically, maybe. But for me, it feels like I basically only gave a first. because I have TJ Hawkinson and Jake Ferguson and Pat Freiermuth. Like, I didn't need all three of them. So giving up Pat, it's like, okay, I gave up a reasonable tight end, but I'm not really losing anything. So it only felt like I was giving up my first. It feels like a weird trade for a team that's 1-3 to make because, you know, when you're 1-3, you're not doing so hot and first round picks are good. But this is kind of where I decided I need to make something happen if I want to turn this season around. And I don't like losing. I didn't want to tank. So I said, yeah, let's do it. I'll get DK. He's going to be good for a while. He's still young. I think he's worth a first round pick.
Super young. So I think he might be worth more than a first round pick, honestly. I mean, obviously, yeah, you added a little bit more on, but more than just a replaceable tight end. Yeah. Needless to say, yeah, I was jealous of the trade. I think it was a really good trade for you. I don't really understand why Luke did the trade, or I don't think he really maximized his value because he's in like a rebuild area, but like DK is only 26, I believe. Like he should be something that you build around.
Do you want to hear something funny? Sorry, I thought you were done. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go for it.
Riley messaged me and he said, yeah, man, I was trying to get DK. I sent him just my first for DK and he said no. And to me, I'm like, I think your first is going to be better than mine. And Pat Freiermuth is nothing. I almost think the trade, if you would have done a 1-for-1 with Riley, it would have been better than doing what he did with me. But I'm happy about it.
You think he's just down on your team? Like you're actually going to be worse than you will? But like giving you DK is going to help you so much where you're going, your team's, I think, immediately already playoff bound now, even though like you had a slow start.
Yeah.
So I agree. And your max points for was so high too that like
I
don't know.
Yeah, like after this 1 week, you know, I was 1-3, whatever it is. I have third most points for in the league still. Like I'm 2-3, but I mean, it's not like my team has been. It's just maybe I've gotten a little lucky, maybe had a bad week or two. But yeah, I think the trade was great for me. I feel good about it. I think maybe Luke could have gotten more from someone else.
Yeah. Otherwise, I think Luke is just going for lowest points scored now. Because he already has 0 running backs. He's trading away his receivers now. He's eyeing up someone in the draft for sure.
Yep, I agree. But enough of that. Let's move on to our Week 6 DFS lineups. I guess I'll just go over mine first. I'm on the right-hand side. We both got Dak. Love to see it. I love to see my boy Dak on the screen. I got Josh Jacobs, who it seems you also have. Tony Pollard. Tank Dell, who you also got have. Tank. CeeDee Lamb. I got Wicks this week. Maybe he'll bounce back. Kate Otten. That's just a nice little bit of a value tight end. Josh Palmer, who I think is a steal at 4,500, and the Buccaneers defense against Spencer Rattler led.
Yeah, I really liked that play. I don't know if they put out the pricing before it was announced or something, but when I saw them way down there, I was like,
I said, thank you.
Easily. Thank you. I'm putting that in my lineup. Yeah, I really need to win this week because, like AJ said, it's 1-2 overall records. So
4-1, just like Dane said.
Yeah, I need to start bouncing back with some dubs. So I'm trying to get a lot of players in that Green Bay, Arizona game. I believe that's going to be high scoring. I got Derrick Henry and Mark Andrews on my team that you don't have. And instead of stacking CD with Dak, I stacked Jalen Tolbert, he's been like all right. And I didn't really see that coming. So I'm taking the value. There's not really a 15. Yeah, there's a less than a 4-point difference in points per game of CD and Tolbert, but their price differences is pretty crazy. So I'm going to try and take the value there and hope that CD just doesn't have berserk weeks, which now that I'm saying it's going to freaking happen.
Last season against the Lions, he went 13 for 227 yards and a touchdown. So
that's got Tolbert's name written all over it. Yeah, originally I tried putting Laporta in my lineup just because looking at all the Titans, they felt really cheap, but then I was like, well, why am I paying up for this guy? I'm putting Mark Andrews in my lineup again. It feels disgusting, but like he's one of those premier tight ends, sort of, is just priced way down. So instead of taking a shot at like an Otten or Taysom Hill or someone like that, I'm just going to put in Mark Andrews. So I'm going with that. And I got the Butterman, Bo Melton, in my lineup over Wicks. I wanted to play a Packer receiver too, but Wicks burned me last week, and I could not afford Jaden Reed. And Dobbs looks like he's going to be playing this week. Hopefully they figured all that stuff out, but maybe he's going to be limited and Bo's going to get some snaps in. I don't really know. I just really want this win.
And
that's all I got.
I don't think you're going to get it. No, I was joking. Yeah, I kind of agree with obviously the Green Bay Arizona game a little bit. I've got both Jacobs and Wicks, so targeting that because I do think it'll be a bit of an offensive battle. Tony Pollard, the most commonly picked player in all of DFS for myself, apparently, is back, and he will never leave again. I'm sure he'll be here next week. I don't know what it is. He's always on my team. He's got another good matchup. He's going to score points. It's just how it works, and he's still pretty cheap. Tank Dell, I don't think you mentioned it, so I will. We both have him. Also feels like a steal, especially with Nico Collins on the IR now. Feels like a very, very nice play at 6,200. Big fan of that. If you're playing DFS anywhere, more specifically, I guess, on DraftKings, I would recommend having Tank Dell in your lineup. Kate Otten, I don't know. I'm a matchup hound. I like picking good matchups. It's a good matchup. He's pretty cheap. I like Kate Otten gets a couple small targets here and there. He'll get 30 yards and 4 catches. Good enough for me. And then Josh Palmer, he was really cheap. He's a gross play, but I think it's a good value for a guy that's going to play the entire game. He's going to be on the field. Will he score any points? Who knows? But he's going to have opportunities too. So I think it's just at that price point, it's a pretty reasonable pick at your flex.
Are you scared of seeing Marvin Harrison and Tolbert versus CD and Palmer?
No, I think CD's going to have a good game. I think Marvin CD will probably be pretty close. Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe I am. I think Tolbert will have a better game than Josh Palmer. I do. So maybe that is a little scary. But I also think that Wicks over Melton is a favor on my side. So I work a little bit back from that. But yeah, I mean, in general, I think, Tolbert over Palmer is almost guaranteed. And I think Marvin CD Lamb will be similar. The one thing I'm actually worried about is the Derrick Henry, Tony Pollard matchup. That's what I think this might come down to. I don't know how. I mean, I guess it's just because you saved so much money with Bo Melton. That's really what it came down to.
It was. I saw him way down there. I was like, I'll take a stab at him. I don't know.
Because that's, and I guess, you saved a lot of money with Bo Melton, and the CD Lamb, Marvin Harrison price point is also quite different for guys who probably will score similar. So,
that's what I fucking did last week, and I lost. So we'll see.
Who knows? Who knows?
But touching on a couple of guys that we talked about, Tank, Andrews, and Pollard, all kind of feel very similar to me in a way that Pollard broke his fibula 2 years ago, right? And then he had a down year last year, but is performing
down in air quotes. It wasn't like that bad, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but playing a whole lot better this year, like feeling a lot more explosive.
Looking better for sure. Yeah.
Tank and Andrews had similar injuries where it's like maybe they just need a little bit more time to get started. So that's what I'm hoping for. And I'm playing them this week.
Here we go. We'll find out. To our redraft picks. We both had very chalk. We both had pretty good weeks last week. I gained a game. I was 5-1. Dane was 4-2. So seems like we're maybe picking it up a little bit about what's going on here. And what I will say, I'm just going to talk about my team for a little bit. Good God, this week is going to be rough. Tyreek on bye. Devontae Adams never plays football. The rest of my team is buns. Ramondre might not play. And then I'm just donezo. So I finally am going against myself in redraft.
Sorry, I got really distracted because games started. We're recording this on Thursday. And
oh, shit, they started.
Gino already threw a pick, it looks like.
Very good.
And
hey, who's got Gino?
Driving right now.
We're changing. Who's got Gino?
Who is played? They should have -2 points right now. Or
you know who I think is Gino? Jake in Dynasty. So you know what?
He does.
Let's move on to Dynasty because we are.
He also has him in redraft too. He is playing Sam. Man, okay. Yeah.
We're moving on. This is
DK's got a 30-yard catch.
Let's go, baby. Anyway. To Dynasty, not chalk.
Not chalk at all. I'm calling the upset of the week with Peter versus Austin, one of the best teams, versus one of the teams that is the worst. I'm in yellow. I'm picking Austin. Do you have it up at all, or do you just want me to read through it?
I can pull it up on this if you would like.
But what I was thinking was they both don't really have a QB2 this week. Austin is putting in Tyler Algier in his Superflex, and Peter's got Jerome Ford in his Superflex. But also, Peter has some stinkers in his lineup, honestly. Like, A-Rich has been garbage recently. He's playing the Titans, who is a pretty good defense, in my opinion. And then he's got Bijan, who's been not amazing. DeAndre Swift, who's been churning it on, but you know he can have that dud week. Garrett Wilson in his lineup, who just had a great week, but coming back against Buffalo, they just lost their head coach too. That could be an interesting week. And then he's got Charbonnet in his flex spot right now too, where Kenneth Walker is playing. Like, I don't really see that being a great play.
Hey, 4 yards already got a carry. Yeah, big news for Charbonnet.
But on the other hand, like, I'm liking Jacobs, Harrison. Yeah, they were in my DFS lineup.
London, I think, is good.
Yeah, London's got a great matchup. Like maybe Rashad White.
What is going on? I'm sorry. I have to say this. I don't know how you're picking this team after I've just looked at it. Drake London, Tyler Algier, Greg Dortch, Marvin Harrison, Romeo Dobbs, Josh Jacobs. He's got just guys on all one team, man. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, dude, I'm stacking those teams. I mean, at least he's got some good teams versus
good matchups.
Peter, that is Bears,
good
Jets,
players,
Raiders. Yeah, I guess whatever. But you know what? I'm just rocking with Austin. Come on,
no.
Give me the
I will say
upset of the week.
Is that I don't just if you just look instead of the teams, I'm like. He has pairs of 2. If you just look at the players at face value, it's doable. I will say this is not the craziest shout you've ever had.
I want it to happen.
As crazy as it seems, it's not the craziest thing. Moving on.
The other one we have different too is
me.
Yeah, Jake and you.
We got a lot of. There's actually a lot riding on this game right now. He has Debo, Walker, and Gino in this game, so we could know pretty quickly. You have. Jake, I have myself in the picks.
Yeah, and the interception's not helping me out right now. I do think this was a very close one, and what it's going to come down to is the Dallas-Detroit game, because you have the Cowboys and he has the Lions, where it's going to be whatever team plays better is going to win this game, in my opinion. Yeah, I went with Jake because I do think this 49er Seattle game should be high scoring, but then also Kamara, I feel like he's due for kind of a stinker week, even though should be like QB proof. We'll see how QB proof he is with Spencer Rattler, and Jake's got Saquon too. Like that's kind of sweet to have. So
yeah, what I'll say is now that I'm looking at it, maybe I should play. No, I shouldn't play Jared Goff. For sure, I should not play Jared Goff because I don't want to get canceled out by these two. So never mind. Anyway, he doesn't have a second quarterback. I think I have 2 quarterbacks who are going to score nice amount of points this week in Kyler and Kirk. Devontae Adams is currently in his lineup. Gus Edwards, Alexander Madison. That's who he's playing instead. That's kind of gross. I don't know. So we'll see. I'm sitting ETN as of now. I have Javonte on the bench, Dowdle on the bench, and I am playing the Mooney and Kirk stack this week, chasing the love from last week. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But I honestly am kind of surprised that you went with Jake just strictly because of the Adams and the no second.
Okay, yeah, I guess I did not see that Adams thing. So,
but I will say no. I'm not letting you switch this time. Not happening.
No, I'm not switching. I'm not switching. But yeah, that is unfortunate. So I just gotta have
what I'll say though, this guy's got superstars on his team: Saquon, Amon-Ra, DJ Moore, Sam Laporta, Debo. He's got guys that could score 30 points each. Mm-hmm. He could very easily still win this game.
And Alexander Madison.
And Alexander Madison. Let's go. And that, I think, is our only other. Everything else seemingly pretty chalk. You know what I will say? You over Ben is an interesting one. Ben's had a really nice start to the year. But
yes,
we both got you.
I didn't even want to pick myself because I didn't want to really jinx it or anything. I was like, I can't pick myself. I'm going to pick myself and I'm going to lose. Like, that's what's going to happen. No, I'm rocking with that confidence. I'm going to say I'm going to win because he's got so many players on bye. He's got
yes, he does.
Jay Jettis on bye. Kyron Williams on bye. I mean, Derek Carr's hurt. That's
no second quarterback.
Yeah, Tyler Conklin in the Superflex, and also it's looking like Neighbors might not be playing this week too without practicing.
Is Singletary playing?
Yeah, question mark. Like
you might not be playing against the full team.
Yeah, and like if those two don't play, do I switch Daniel Jones out for Andy Dalton or someone? I don't know. Maybe.
I don't hate it.
I mean, maybe I should just do that regardless since I'm playing against a bunch of Giants. But yeah, that's why I had to switch up that confidence. And that's also why we got to wrap this episode up and I can start watching this game because I got Ayuk and JSN.
Big news for you.
Right now.
Big news for you. Jake Moody just kicked a field goal. Don't you have him in somewhere?
Yeah, I said before we started recording, I was like,
huge news.
I was like, fuck this. I don't really care about this team. I've wanted for like whatever. I'm just gonna leave Moody and I'm not even gonna put in the effort of picking up a new kicker. Apparently, he's still playing.
Starting off hot, baby. Come on, don't call it a comeback for that 1-4 team. But that is it for us today. We gotta go watch some football. We appreciate you watching. Don't forget to sack that like and subscribe button. Like it's Geno Smith apparently because he's throwing duds today. We'll see you next time.